before now, OSCE was 6 stations. You do your assessment, planning, implementation, and evaluation, and then you have to do 2 skills. But then they changed it and they said it's now going to be 10 stations. So with the 10 stations, you now still do your API, then you have to do 6. So you do 4 skills, 1 evidence base, and 1 professional values.
The reason why we are very particular about this OSCE is because this is the test that determines that gives you access to joining the NMC register. That's the final stage of joining the NMC register. And what happens is when you come into the UK, the Home Office gives you 9 months to pass this OSCE. If you don't get your NMC pin within 9 months, you would have to go back to your home country. And some employers give you 1 attempt. The second attempt, you will need to pay it on your own. Some give you 2 attempts. The third attempt, you need to pay it on your own. Hi guys, welcome once again to another episode here on my YouTube channel. Today with me, I have a very high profile personality, and she is in the person of Violet Okolicha. She is a YouTuber. She is a very renowned OSCE trainer. She does OSCE private classes, guys. I personally know Violet from my old trust. We both wrote OSCE at the same time. And then when we finished writing OSCE, Violet grew like exponentially. She gained more knowledge and insight into OSCE. So I call her an OSCE specialist, really, because she knows the A to Z of OSCE. And I mean, you guys have been asking the new changes in OSCE, how to assay your OSCE. So I decided to bring Violet onto the channel to tell us the new changes at the NMC UK, because every single day they make changes. And so Violet is going to tell us everything we need to know today about OSCE examination. Welcome, Violet, to my channel.
Thank you very much,
Becca. It's nice to have you. It's nice to have you with me. It's been really a long time. And I mean, I admire your strength of being a mother of 3 in UK, working full time and still having time to do YouTube, like back to back. You are doing an amazing job. And I know you do private OSCE training as well for students that want to sit for OSCEs. Yeah. So guys, if you want somebody to train you privately, also you can DM Violet. I'm going to leave her links in my description box in the comments. Like, just go onto her channel, support her, follow her. You pass your OSCE like first, because she has a lot of success stories, I mean, for students that she has been training. So yeah, Violet, before we go into it, can you give us a brief background about who you are, just for us to know the beautiful Violet and everything about you?
All right, thank you so much, Becca. So my name is Violet Okolicha. I'm a registered nurse. I live and I practice in the United Kingdom. And Becca is my matron, actually, like she said. We came together, and she's somebody I admire a lot right from time. I admire her, and I've been following her channel for quite a long time. So Becca is actually my pleasure.
Oh, Violet. All right, thank you so much, Violet. I know you have an OSCE training class privately, and then you have a YouTube channel. But before we go into OSCEs, I know NMC UK, changes a lot of things. I know recently they changed the language requirement, and then the eligibility criteria for OET and IELTS.
That's correct.
Yeah, so I want you to touch on it briefly. You've talked about it on the channel. So just tell us briefly what these changes are.
Okay, so for the English language, I think we were actually thinking that the changes was massive, but there is no much massive changes. What they actually did was with the clubbing of the results. They just if you are near the score, probably you just got like minus 0.5, then you can club your results. Or if you've also been in the UK for quite some time and you've been practicing in the UK, and your employer can now give you a reference and say, all right, this person practices in the UK with us. She speaks English. The patient understands her. She's able to chat and document properly in English language. And so they are willing to give you an employer reference. And with also your IELTS results, or with also your OET results, and you are near the score, then you can add your employer reference to it. So there is no really massive changes. So that's why I said it's like we are being like, oh, it's going to be so massive. There's no much massive changes, but I think it's also a plus, especially for those who have been in the United Kingdom and they've been struggling with the IELTS, and now they have near the score, and getting an employer reference can now be a plus for them. So it's really a good and a welcome development actually for NMC and for every one of us generally.
Yeah. And I also feel like it's a step. It shows that when we talk, they listen. So it may not be that big, but it means that they've listened. So it means next time, if we make a massive move, they are going to consider. So gradually, because I remember back in the days, writing was 7. We appealed, reduced to 6.5. So it's like gradually, we are getting there. One day, who knows? They may even scrape IELTS.
And Beck, I can tell you for free that these little changes really made a massive input. Almost a lot of people I know who've been in the UK practice, and they are like, for writing, they just got 6.0, for AET, they got near the score. Now with an employer reference, they can push through.
Yeah. So we see it as being maybe insignificant, but to somebody is like a deal breaker. Yeah. So we appreciate their effort and for listening to us. Okay, so back to Oski. To be honest with you, since we like finished writing Oski about 2 years now, I know nothing about Oski. I don't know what's happening with Oski, but I know you are the guru, the Odogo of all Oski trainers, like the Oga Pata Pata. And I know there's been a lot of Oski changes. So can you just start with us, maybe from assessment to just tell us the changes that the NMC UK have made to the Oski?
Okay, so the changes started this year actually. You know, before now, Oski was 6 stations. You do your assessment, planning, implementation, and evaluation, and then you have to do 2 skills. But then they changed it and they said it's now going to be 10 stations. So with the 10 stations, you now still do your API, then you have to do 6. So you do 4 skills, 1 evidence base, and 1 professional values. So of the evidence base they introduced, then they have 5 evidence base. So of that 5 evidence base, you get to do 1, and of that 5 professional values, you get to do 1. So you're doing 1 evidence base, you're doing 1 professional values, and you're doing your API, and you are doing 4 skills.
Wow! So 10 stations.
10 stations.
And guys, the reason why we are very particular about this Oski is because this is the test that determines that gives you access to joining the NMC register. That's the final stage of joining the NMC register. And what happens is when you come into the UK, the Home Office gives you 9 months to pass this Oski. If you don't get your NMC pin within 9 months, you would have to go back to your home country. And some employers give you 1 attempt. The second attempt, you will need to pay it on your own. Some give you 2 attempts. The third attempt, you need to pay it on your own. And very recent, somebody messaged me and said, he has exhausted his 9 months. He didn't pass his Oski and he has to go back to Africa. He's now looking for another sponsor and blah, blah. It's a lot. That is why we want you guys to avoid all of these, like life-threatening situations. So, Violet, so now the API, what does it entail?
All right. So now, Becca, so of that 10 stations they were doing recently, and it's going to take impact from November 17th, next month, November 17th, they've added more skills. So now they've added about 5 skills. One of the skills they've added recently, which is going to start from November 17th, is nutritional assessments. That's one of the skills. Another one they've added is Bowel assessment. That's the second skill. And the third skill they've added is administration of suppository. And then they added oral care plan, and then they added oxygen therapy. So the other skills we have, we had a lot of skills. We have ANTT, we have wound assessment.
We had about 20 or so.
Yes, we have administration of inhaled medication, subcutaneous injection, administration of iron injection. We have fluid balance charts. So of all those skills we have, they've now added these 5 to them. Now for the professional values, they've made it now a total of almost 14, 15 professional values.
Wow.
Evidence-based, they made it almost 14, 15 evidence-based. So the Oski itself now is now a bit more complex. Now, of this I've mentioned, for the API now, the good thing is that they didn't change much of the API. So API comprises of, for number 1 of API, you want to do GCS assessment. Another thing you consider for API, if you don't get GCS assessment, you may have to do MUST, which is Malnutrition Universal Screening 2, which is usually in community setting. But now you do MUST with the news charts. When I and Becca did MUST, we did it with a community chat.
Yeah.
And that's why it does not carry SPO2. Like, it doesn't carry a whole lot, but now it's now with the news charts.
I see.
You now get to do PHQ9 with the news charts.
Wow.
Now, yes, a lot has happened. So is it that you're doing GCS, you're doing PHQ9, you're doing MOS, or you're doing congestive cardiac failure, or atrial fibrillation, or asthma, or pneumonia, or you're even doing homelessness. It's quite a whole lot now. So these are what comprises of what assessments. So GCS, MOS, PHQ9, asthma, and pneumonia, congestive cardiac failure, pre-op patients, post-operative patients, homelessness patients. And so these are all the assessments. And of all these I've mentioned, you are expected to get one. And Becca, I want to applaud you for actually doing this video, because honestly, a lot of people, as I speak to you this week, we've handled 10 persons who have failed 3 attempts, and the trust has withdrew their serious.
I received those emails and they were quite alarming to me, really, because by that time I was very tight with my own schedule, so I couldn't do a video on that. So I was like, I'm looking forward to really do a video with you. And I was so shocked at the amount of people that kept coming and were like, I failed on the 3rd attempt, I failed on the time. I'm like, what is happening? So it means that now the Oski is more difficult than it used to be.
I would say, because you now have too much to read about. It remains simple, but during our time, we didn't have to, like, we read. Actually, if you don't read, you're going to fail, definitely. We read, but then it was like 4 stations, and then you have fewer skills, like you're doing 6. Now you're doing 10. And of course, now 5 professional values before now. Now the professional values you have to read about is 14. And of that 14, 15, you just get to do 1. Evidence base is now around 14, 15. And of that 14, 15, you just get to do 1. Now, of course, they've added to it again. Wound assessment is there. Bowel assessment is there. So you have a whole lot to read. So there's no time to play, guys. You just have to come here, put your heart down, and read seriously.
Because back in the days, even ANTT alone is a procedure on its own. Like,
now you can't even do only ANTT. Once you are doing ANTT, your next station, once you're doing ANTT, you have to start with wound assessment. You have to assess the wound first, and then before you can do ANTT.
You can do ANTT. Oh my goodness. And this is just for nursing. And I know as psychiatric nursing and midwifery, OSCEs, are they different from the general ones?
Yes, they are. They are different. So we have adult OSCE, we have for the psychiatry OSCE, we have a pediatric OSCE, and we have a midwifery OSCE. They are different, but particularly adult OSCE has changed, and there are a lot of changes also for psychiatry and the rest of them.
Yeah. So in the UK, basically, we have 4 different specialties. So the pediatric, psychiatry, midwifery, and then the adult or the general nursing. So most of the changes are in relation to the general, because most of the nurses or most of people that come into the UK are nurses. It's only a few midwives and few psychiatric. So most of the majority of the changes are to do with the adult OSCE. So guys, with this being said, I'll leave Violet's link in my description box. I mean, the magic Violet does on the channel, I'm like, listen, this girl is like, she's a deal breaker, because she knows the in and out. To be honest with you, it's either you need to write an OSCE book or you need to be an OSCE trainer. I think we've talked about this because you are like a pro in the OSCE. You've come to understand the ins and outs of the OSCE.
Becca, you know, it came out from when we wrote our OSCE. You know, we passed at first attempt, but out of 21 of us, almost like 16 failed.
Yeah, so there were only 7 of us that passed.
Yes, we were so few that passed. And so people keep failing this. And the thing is so simple. If you just strictly follow the marking criteria, there is no way you will fail. The assessor even wants you to pass, but a lot of people, they don't even follow the marking criteria.
Yeah.
I'll tell you for free, some people don't even understand the concept of nursing itself. I told you, I was preparing a lady for a receipt exam, and then, you know what she did? She had a station of removal of catheter. And then instead of removing the catheter, you know, when you see a catheter there, it's either you remove it or you collect a sample.
Yeah.
So instead of removing the catheter, then she was collecting a sample. So it means she already had a preconceived idea. I'm going here and this is what I'm going to get. And some of them are always tensed up when they go for the OSCE exam, to be honest. They're like, and the assessor calms you down. Becca, I don't know how it is in Ghana. When you're doing your OSCE exam, is there so much tension?
Well, it depends. It depends on, because if you have an examiner that you are not familiar with, or you go to a ward that you don't really do clinicals in, You are very tensed. And also, if you're not familiar with the procedure you've been given, you are very tense. But if you've prepared well and the person you meet is friendly and gives you a good introduction, then you can relax.
Because where I come from Nigeria. So in Nigeria, the examiners are usually serious, like, you know. So when I now approached for my Oski exam, the examiner was smiling. I'm like, oh my God. So the examiners here are so like, they're full of smile because they want you to calm down. But so why the tension is something I really, really don't understand. The examiner calm you down, look to the camera, confirm you've never met me. Are you okay? Do you want to have a cup of water? So if an examiner does that, so why are you tense?
That's very true. That's very true. And guys, if you are overseas and you are planning to come into the UK, I would advise you to start learning from home. Because at first we used to say that don't stress yourself, just come here and learn, like start from the scratch. But now it doesn't work like that because it's a lot to learn. So I would advise you to follow people like Violet and read, like follow her like back to back, get an understanding before you even come into the UK so that you can just pass first attempt and you avoid the stresses of going through all this resets and everything that comes with it. So Violet, with this being said, what advice will you give to aspiring UK RNs or people that are waiting to sit for their OSCE? What advice will you give to them?
All right, Becca, my matron has said it all, and you know, you've just said it out of my mouth. Before now, we always say, come to the UK first, get sorted, and then you practice. No, I wouldn't advise that anymore. The OSCE is now voluminous, like you have a lot to read. So start while you are in your country. Once you have this mindset that I want to be in UK nurse, or I want to come to the UK and, you know, pursue my nursing career in the UK, start preparing for your OSCE. Go online, download the marking criteria. And you know what? One thing I say is, when you're watching video, you should be watching it with your marking criteria. And that's how you know this person doesn't know what he or she is teaching. So watch videos with your marking criteria. And then you know, oh, this person knows what she's doing, and keep practicing. OSCE is really so simple. And I know nurses are usually very brilliant people. So if you practice, I tell you, there is no way you will fail. Becca, a lot of my private students are like, no, only to make it look simple. Is that how it is in the exam? And when they go for the exam, they tell me, if I had known it's that simple, I wouldn't have read too much.
You made it simple. It's not.
Your practice, you would see it so simple. And the examiner would be like, wow, you know? Like, so definitely it's going to be a pass for you. If you practice, prepare, and study, you're definitely going to easy. Becca passed once, I did pass once. So why should you write 2 times?
No. If we are mentors, you can't write 2 times. All right, guys. So with this being said, we are going to draw the curtain to this video. For those of you who are asking about private trainers, because I know most of you that get contracts to join the care homes, some of them don't give you tuition for OSCE. And it will be a nightmare to come into the UK. You are seeing the land and you will not enjoy the fruits of it. You will come 9 months and you go back home. No way. So if you are not giving a trainer, you can do private studies. I always tell people, get a private trainer. And there are a few people that I can personally attest and tell you that this person know what they are doing. And Violet is definitely like on my top list of those people. So if you need a private trainer, just go into Violet's DM, like disturb her. She doesn't charge much. She'll just take you something very, very little that you can afford. Just pass your OSCE once and for all. I'm going to leave her social media handles, like her channel, everything in my description. But guys, like just go to her channel, learn a lot from her. I don't want to hear this OSCE failure story again in my ears, please. So follow Violet. We've done this collab video for you guys. Please follow her. Like disturb her, do tuition with her. If you need extra support, maybe your trust, you're even in NHS, but your trust is not giving you that information you need. We've seen it before. You can be in NHS, you won't get the information. You need experts to tell you that this is what is happening. And Violet is definitely one of them. So Violet, thank you so much for giving us time. Is there any final words you need to tell my followers before we bring an end to this video?
Honestly, Becca, thank you for having this video. And I give Becca a plus for doing this video. Guys, you really need to prepare for this OSCE exam. And if you prepare well, you're definitely going to pass. And so, Becca, keep inspiring us like you always do. Like I said, I've been following Becca for quite a long time. And you know, so when we met again,
each other.
Oh my God, is she? Rebecca, you've been doing a good job, so keep doing the good job. It's not like you're doing this job because you're getting paid for it. Of course, you're not getting any payment for it, but it's just like a passion to help humanity. And I pray that as you help humanity, God is going to take you to a level you've never dreamt of going, and God is going to bless you and every member of your family. So thank you so much for the job you're doing. God bless you.
Thank you very much as well. Thank you very much. And thank you all guys for watching our video. So we'll bring an end to this video and follow Violet's channel and support her with all the love. And she'll also give you back the love in knowledge so that you pass your OSCE exams once and for all. Thank you guys for joining us today for today's video. And thank you for always watching our channel. Until we meet again in our next video, guys, is bye.